hopefully
Mm-hmm.
that.
You're all set. I'll call the meeting to order. The Halifax Planning Commission on December 9th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Any changes or corrections to the agenda?
Not that I know.
Depending on if Tina and Mary show up about revising the permits, I may change those two just to get them out of here or deal with them first. Approval of regular meeting minutes. Everybody get a chance to look at those? Yep.
I was away. Teacher,
We're all
the
here.
dog ate my homework,
I thought,
ate my minutes. I shouldn't be doing that if they were recording all the time, right?
I thought they looked all right, so I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Everybody approved? New business, to continue the hearing for David Brewster's subdivision, permit number 25-15. Sorry to put you off for another month, David, but we had a couple of questions and they got answered for us.
And my gratitude for you all coming out on these cold nights to review my proposal, and also I apologize for my not being present last time.
Yeah. We still might have sought out another answer, but yeah, you'd have been there to answer questions anyways. I feel you answered all my questions and with the information, and it looks like what you're doing is gonna be pretty good. You're not really, the buildings are staying in the same place, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, the farmhouse, I'm sure you all are familiar with Andrew Witt's house right on the road, is really essentially it's a tear down. It would have been in most other buyers' hands. And I just happened to like restoration, historic preservation, and have already invested a lot into making it quite beautiful and
Good, great, yeah,
restoring it.
yeah, I think that's awesome, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Do you guys have any other questions for David regarding the subdivision?
I'm just wondering what there's gonna be no septic for her old house. It's just the newer house that has a septic system.
No, I wrote in my email that there would be, each property would function entirely separately and have their own septics and their own drilled wells.
Right.
And I have worked very closely with Peter Noble to create drawings with septic shields and water shields that would affect Kathy McLean's property across the road. It's all above board, so it's all been it's all been properly or requirements have been properly met. So as soon as I get your approval, I can apply for a permit from the state. And of course, we have to wait until the spring before we complete. Gary Lind, of course, from Well Drilling, can still drill the well for the accessory dwelling, the cottage, in the winter. But right now, both properties share the same well.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what we saw.
It's a very odd codependent situation, which was established, 60 years ago. When a lot of things were just sort of jerry-rigged.
Her Ann's father did a lot of work on the property, on the house, which was understanding that it was not real livable. This is a long time ago. And he caught something in his respiratory system and he died from it. That's what she had told me.
Wow.
I was working at the house. Yeah, well, that's a common thing if you're not careful with it, you know, you never know what you're tearing out of the walls, you know. Whether it's asbestos or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you all have, you're curious. The door's wide open. We've completely gutted it. And it's fascinating because you can see the original infrastructure of an 18th century timber frame building. And it's beautiful, all hand hewn beams, and it's really, all of that will be exposed.
Yeah.
Nice. So do you have renters lined up for them yet, or?
Well, that's putting the horse before the
I think
cart.
they're gonna be pretty easy to find.
Yeah, is there really a deficit of housing around here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I have a great tenant. Of course, Tina Blaze, her daughter's in the
Yeah, yeah,
college right now.
yeah.
She's
Yeah.
terrific.
Yeah.
But actually I do. You may know David Christie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
His daughter's very keen. She was close to Ann DeWitt and is very keen on renting the
Mhm.
farmhouse.
Yeah, okay,
But we've got a lot of work to do.
yeah, yeah, I hear you there.
Yeah.
My memory's not serving me perfectly here. Were the setbacks all met, the 25 feet from
Yeah,
adjacent?
yeah,
Yeah,
I believe-
Brad took care
yeah,
of all that.
I believe
He's
everything.
very good.
Setbacks, road frontage,
I have a,
everything was,
freshly minted
yeah.
plat right
We,
here.
we were just questioning
Okay.
the splitting up of
No,
the
that's-
accessory dwelling.
Just want to make sure we check that box, but Brad is very good. He
Yeah.
would have
Yeah.
got that.
How did that get resolved? The accessory building
It's,
being on the property, but the building
it
not
just
having.
becomes, it just
infrastructure?
becomes its own entity now. Now that they're split in two,
So
so,
based on the discussion from last time, it's its own entity, but it has no septic or no well
right,
that goes
yeah,
with it.
he's gonna do that, yeah.
So
Well, actually, it does currently have its own, today, each building has its own septic tank, but they share a leach field.
Yeah.
So
the three buildings and.
there's two buildings,
Yeah, I was talking about the accessory building.
the
that's-
accessory building being the cottage.
Mm, No, I thought the cottage, I'm sorry, I thought the cottage was behind Ann DeWitt.
Yeah, and that's what you all
And
call
the
the accessory
accessory
building.
building was out and away from Ann's house this way.
No, there's only two buildings. And,
There's a tiny little shack of a barn.
well, that's obviously not
Yeah,
an
I-
accessory.
Well, I don't know if that's what.
I didn't know because last time on the drawing, you pointed to the buildings and
Yeah,
there was a question about that. I'm just asking how it got resolved.
yeah, it's just that now they're gonna be their own two separate entities. Once it's subdivided. And he's gonna have a separate septic and well for each of them.
No, I understand for
Yeah.
the farmhouse and for the smaller house
Yeah.
behind it or whatever size
Yeah.
it is. But I didn't know about that building that's gonna be outside of that boundary line. That was.
Well, that stays whichever building that is,
I
that,
don't know what building you're talking
If
about.
we had a drawing, I mean, based on the drawings that you showed last time,
Are you sure that wasn't on another property?
Yeah, there were
no,
only
not
two.
about this property.
The property that's getting split only has two dwellings on it.
Right, the property that's being created, the subdivision has two buildings on it. But there was a third building that you were discussing at the last meeting that is on the main property.
Along the road.
Yeah.
Well,
And you
that,
were just.
that's
I'm just
that's
curious.
a dilapidated, essentially it's a shack. It's probably has, it's a barn or a workshop. And it's,
Okay,
I would say 12 by 12, 12 by 10.
that's fine, I was just
But that-
asking.
that-
That was not the.
No.
The accessory dwelling unit
Yeah.
on the plat is the one behind the main house. That's
okay.
a house on its own. But you're saying they share the same something or other, the same leach field?
Right now, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, look, there's the farmhouse,
yeah, I saw,
which is right on the road.
Yeah.
And then if you've all have studied the plat, there's a cottage, which I have a tenant in living now. And they currently they share the same well. And my intention is to drill a brand new well for the cottage. So each will have their own wells. And currently they both have their own septic tanks, but they share the same leach field.
Okay,
So I've gone to great lengths, working closely with Peter Noble to make drawings to establish a site that is within a safe septic shield around neighbors for the farmhouse. And that will be installed, will be a mound system, and it will be installed in the spring, assuming that you can be approved.
My understanding is we don't care about any of this.
Right, but you all are
That-
asking.
Oh, no, I'm talking, yeah, and thank you.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
talking to Tommy now.
Yeah.
That's, you said Bob Fisher said
Yeah,
all we care about is dimensions.
pretty much.
And
Yeah.
so, because I was looking at, like, I'm trying to figure out why is all this in the permit and the instructions? And if that's not what we care about,
You know,
let's cross it off and not.
Not have it on the permit. I think,
If
I
we're
think the
not,
listers
I mean-
need certain stuff on the permit.
Yeah, we're not the only ones.
They need to
Yeah.
know where it is and the
Yeah.
number on it.
Yeah,
I think it is important for us, though, moving forward, that we recognize kind of what's within our jurisdiction to
right,
ask for questions. So for
Right.
instance, we shouldn't
So-
have
we don't
a
need to.
townsperson here who has to feel like they need to defend themselves when they've
Right.
done their,
Thank you.
due diligence
Yeah.
to
I have a question.
do what they.
That wasn't, I was just trying to make sure, because under the instructions, it says you're supposed to do all this before submitting
Right.
the permits, so I
Yeah.
feel like we've got to do something about this so that we don't
Yeah.
get into this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I just wanted to ask you, this is the first time I've heard that it's a, shared leach field. And how long, were those all in when you bought the property?
Yes.
They were. You didn't do them.
No, I haven't even owned the property for a year.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, some people work at night, you know. I've seen that before. Anyway, but that is okay. That'll come through the permit process where the powers that be will see that and say, oh, wait a minute, we gotta ask about this and whatnot. I just want you to be kind of aware that septic systems in Vermont are at best antiquated. And
I'm very aware. I've lived here 27 years, and I live across the road in a 18th century house. And I'm aware of how
We live in-
antiquated the systems are.
who'd you bought that house?
I bought a house from Maureen Evans in 1999.
Okay, I'm thinking of someplace else. The place directly across was the Overhausers that own that, I think. Anyway, it'll all come out in the wash, I'm sure.
Will you accept the motion, Chairman?
I will accept the motion. Well, I should open up the floor to any other questions briefly. Okay, I will accept the motion.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion that we accept the permit as written for the subdivision. David Brewster, dated. Whatever dated one.
I will second it.
This is October 10th.
Okay.
So a motion's been made and seconded to accept the permit for David Brewster subdivision. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? David's permit has passed. And Jessica will have to go through the,
FOF,
yep.
finding of facts.
Wait, what was that? The FO?
The FOF, finding of facts, information form.
And you'll include that Bob Fisher says all we care about is dimensions.
Okay.
And please, I'm asking, yeah, and that wastewater is no longer
Yeah, that's
just.
whether it has
I mean,
wastewater
I
or
don't want
not.
us to be in a bind, but I
Yeah.
also wouldn't want David
Yeah.
to be in a bind and.
Well, he obviously knows he has to go through that in order to.
Yeah,
to
I mean,
proceed.
I just
Yeah.
think in
Yeah.
fairness to everybody to
Yeah.
make sure that no applicant gets
Yeah.
like,
But I think and so he wants to make sure he can subdivide before he goes through all this as
you know,
well.
to convince
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I just wanna
Yeah.
make sure, cause I'm confused why we have all this on the. permit.
Yeah, well, it could be why we're discussing the permit form.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I think this is similar to the campground conversations that we've had of like, how
Yeah.
do we look at wastewater? as a town, and I think it's one of those things that's really not in our jurisdiction.
Yeah.
As much as people would say
Which
they
is
care
why-
about it, but
Right.
I
again,
think we ought to get it off.
Well, yeah. They may need it down the road other than us for what we're using it for.
But it's not gonna get there. Is it,
Yeah, I
once
don't
we're
know.
done with it?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's a separate.
but an important piece, David
Yeah.
should have been able to submit his application for a subdivision without having to have gone through the process of,
Yeah, I'm not
Getting the
contesting, it.
wastewater.
I'm talking about like our internal stuff.
Right,
To
right.
make
Yeah.
sure that,
but I think for the townspeople to know, they
yeah,
have the freedom to
right,
move forward with a process without necessarily needing to go through the state. Which one comes first, essentially?
you don't have to convince me.
No, I'm
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, maybe.
Which
maybe
one?
that needs to be spelled out in the.
I don't know.
I think-
And maybe
yeah,
we're
we-
wrong. Maybe that is a
Yeah.
question for
Yeah,
the town lawyer of,
Yeah.
you know, if they need to do that process with the state, are we the ones who are gonna stand here and say, we're not going to accept a permit until the state gives us the okay?
Yeah,
I don't know. But I think it's
Yeah,
something that maybe we need to put in
It'd
our
be
back
good to
pocket
get
as a
it
discussion.
clarified, cause
Yeah,
these are,
yeah,
they're kind of sketchy.
yeah.
right.
Well,
Cause you've done your due diligence,
Yeah.
but
so,
not everyone is going to be as conscientious.
yeah, we've come across a
Thank
few
you.
sketchy things
Yeah.
in there, so, yeah.
Right.
All right,
Thank you. Sorry to make it
Yeah.
take another month.
yeah,
Well, in closing, I want to again say thank you all very much for your service to the town. And also that anyone who knows me knows that as long as I'm up and at 'em, I'm committed to excellent stewardship. And that is the bottom line. That was the sole incentive for buying this property, to protect it. Because the hilltop there is not only an exceptional natural beauty, but the historic merit is important to preserve for future generations.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. I just wanted
Yeah.
to, that is the bottom line.
Yeah.
It will not be developed under my,
I would love to get up there sometime and check the house out.
you're
too.
welcome,
Yeah.
really. The door is open
Yeah.
on the roadside and it's fascinating. You
Yep.
all are welcome to check it out.
Great, well, thank you very much.
Are we free?
Yep.
Ready to go.
Yeah.
Be sure to sign in too, that you
Okay,
guys are.
sure. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
So revising permit form.
So, Mary and Tina asked to be on the agenda for revising the permit forms, and they are not
Yep.
here, and have they zoomed in or
Need
anything?
anybody pop up?
Nobody? Well, it's too cold for people to get out and about.
Can we put that as kind of a, maybe pose the question to Bob of
Yeah,
what do we do with this wastewater piece? And
Listen.
what's the right order of operations here?
Okay, has anybody looked at these instructions?
I haven't known what instructions you were talking about.
that's on.
You don't know what
zoning,
it's-
That's.
I
on
have,
the-
when you've been referring,
This is
Okay,
on the
so
state
this is-
zoning, right?
oh, it's on the back. end of it.
This is
Okay.
the permit for new parcels that he just filled out, and so, and I get your point, Matt,
Yeah.
because it's like, why would you go through all this if the town's gonna say no? I get that.
Right.
So, but that's not what this says, so, cause it tells you to be, before submitting it, you're supposed to do all this stuff now. And then if you look up some of this. I mean,
It's just telling the applicant what else is required. It's not saying that it's required for the actual permit to be put through, but
well, there
if,
are some exemptions, and
Yeah.
they're different for unimproved lots, improved lots, and it says. State wastewater permit is required for land division of any size unless the lack of permit is clearly stated in the deed, which.
yeah,
Where are
Right.
you?
Which
How
page?
would-
Looking on?
right.
Which page are you
What
looking
is 7? Page 3 of 7. Okay. On the land division, that's a different.
I guess we're looking at different documents.
It's a different.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What-
Another.
Okay, this
same
is
thing.
the one that Mary gave me. That
This is for
including.
Kristen Roberts.
Yeah, that's the one I have sitting here.
Okay, great.
Yeah, that's a
great.
different
So,
one. I can't unless it's on here.
This is the wastewater stuff.
Okay, so what
So
Permit, are you looking at, are you looking at them?
it's the
Zoning.
permit
So-
for new parcels.
Oh, okay, we're on the zoning.
Oh, I have the zoning, okay.
So
So clarify, do they actually need that before they come see us?
well, we shouldn't have this here if it's,
But that's the
Yeah.
question,
Yeah.
are we supposed to be the gatekeeper that says, no, you can't move forward until you design?
I don't,
Until
I
you-
I don't
don't,
know.
I'm not interested
So
in
it's
being the
a-
gatekeeper
yeah.
for
Yeah,
any of the state stuff, but if we have, if. I don't know the answer. I'm just trying to read and figure things out, so.
But I can't imagine that somebody who's trying to say, hey, I want to design a parcel for my child, and I want to cut this off and go through this process with the state, and it costs me thousands of dollars to get a permit, and then I come down and I sit here and I have some folks saying, sorry, you're not meeting our requirements. That sounds,
I think a lot of the rules don't make sense to me, so I don't disagree.
right, I just don't know, like,
But-
again, what's the order of operations here?
Yeah, and, I know, I don't think you can drill, there's the well driller that I talked to not too long ago was telling me he can't drill a well without a wastewater permit or something.
Yeah, the
There's
water that
like,
comes out,
there's-
get dirty and.
there's all-
I didn't have to have one.
Well, let's do a little kind of thought experiment here for a moment. Let's say someone had a 10-acre parcel with enough frontage to create 3 lots. And they came and they sat down here and we gave them permission to create 3 lots. And for whatever reason, you couldn't get a septic and you couldn't get a well shield and you couldn't get any of that designed, and that person turned around and sold a lot. Is that something that, say,
I've
Bob Fisher
seen
would
it.
say, like, yeah, you really don't want to buy this because
No, they
there's no
put it
septic
in-
permit, or is it gonna be like, sorry, I don't know. And
Yeah,
Well,
How
you
do we
have to
play into-
state it in the deed, and I've read deeds where it's in,
okay.
yeah,
so it's
Yeah.
very clearly.
Yeah.
In some of the deeds.
Right.
And that's, my understanding is that's just one of the state's requirements, but it's right here too.
That's all.
so-
Right.
Yeah.
Well, do you mind asking that question?
Not at all,
Getting some
yeah.
clarification of
Yeah.
how we should do that?
yep,
And it'd be nice to have a flow chart so we'd know,
Right.
like,
Love a flow chart.
this,
I like the arrows. What do I do
It's
next?
just
I
so
like looking
clear.
at the splits.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
just
go
like,
that
I
way.
like that
Yes, no.
choice.
well, forget about a flow chart. How
Alright.
about just.
I'm serious. Love a flow chart.
Oh, honestly,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
absolutely in earnest right now.
Okay.
yeah,
I don't joke about.
You
flow
don't
charts.
look like you're.
No.
I never look serious. I never look serious. You can't judge anything based on that.
Just so we know that, and
And people know.
I
What
would-
do you
Yeah.
have to do?
yeah. What are you,
That's
what are you
the
supposed to
business.
do first? Yeah,
you read what I'm
Yeah,
into,
yeah,
it's like, so.
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and when I think about like, why would I want to be on the planning and zoning commission? First, there's like, and then the second question is like, well, ideally, we're just helping people navigate like existing bureaucracy and make that smoother and not just like causing more hiccups for people. And sometimes it feels like we're causing more hiccups for people than we are helping them
streamline
do
the
what they want
process,
through
yeah.
like state bureaucracy.
Seems like it, yeah.
Well, but
Now,
alternately, if they're gonna have trouble down the road with the state, I think it would be good for
No, that's what I'm
us
saying is
to
that the more
help
that,
them
the more that
rather
we can
than,
educate them ahead
Yeah.
of time,
Right,
the
this is what
better.
the process looks like.
And for that, we
yeah,
need to.
so
know
that
what's
they
going on.
don't end up with. Okay, so this guy, for example, ends up with 2 lots and the state says. You gotta kick that person out because there's no wastewater permit.
Yeah.
You know,
right,
I don't imagine that happening, but
Yeah.
it'd be nice to protect the townspeople.
So it's-
yeah, it's,
Dinner.
I think
I remember that at this meeting at.
I think it
6:52.
almost- it's pretty much laying it out. I'm gonna have to do this now or after. Not. If I get my permit, I don't have to do it. It's still required.
Yeah, but
So,
it says before.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, something we could consider. if we
right
want
here,
to.
before.
before submitting a zoning permit. A submit may be required for any new construction other than, so it's not.
No,
new
but then keep
construction.
reading.
Yeah, state ways required for land divisions of any size unless lacked for clearly stated in deed. Will required for the special depending aside, yeah. Yeah. No,
So what if we did something? This might turn into a bureaucratic nightmare, so we may not want to do it, but I'm just thinking something pending dependent. So for instance, they come for approval, we basically say, yes, you've met all our requirements.
Yeah, once you get this.
Once you get the wastewater permit, come back and
It'll be-
your form is complete.
Yeah.
Again, I think we need to ask Bob, see what he says.
Yeah.
Best practice.
Yeah.
Around that.
yeah, cause you don't wanna, like, that's what we did with this guy, pretty much.
Correct.
So you just made a 1 month process, 2 month process.
Right.
So if we could take care of it all, or he could do it ahead of time,
Correct.
yeah, so, yeah,
And if we don't have to worry about any of that, then get rid of some of this language.
Or maybe it becomes something where we really don't need to have a hearing upon it until, I don't know, I'm just,
until he has the permit.
until, right, we're just
Yeah.
saying like, yes, you've
Yeah.
met the requirement. We just
Yeah.
give it a scan at a
Right.
meeting and we say, yes, this has
Yeah.
met requirements.
Yeah.
Send it back, go forward and do
And I
it.
mean, that, okay, so he says he has a permit, who makes sure it's a permit? I could tell you I have a permit.
Right.
Right.
Are any of us gonna check it out?
Right, so here's all the things that
Yeah,
they're, like, I'm looking at it, like, so why is that there?
yeah,
Right.
And you can say it's in the listers, but,
yeah. Well, if the listers were here,
yeah, but
were they coming?
I sent them an email saying we're discussing it, here's,
Yeah, well, Tina requested to be put on the agenda, so I was assuming they were gonna be here.
haven't heard.
Yeah, okay,
You know,
Um,
you told me they were.
yeah,
Be and
yeah.
sent an email saying, here we go.
yep, okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of the questions, I'm wondering if the League of Vermont Towns and Cities would be a helpful resource. Cause, the select board uses them quite a lot, and my understanding is the town has access to, asking them questions. I don't know if it's through the select board or through the commissions. But I would imagine that this is not the first time this set of questions has come up for a planning commission. And the Vermont League of Cities and Towns may provide some useful
Mhm.
guidance or information about protocol relationship of town permit to state permit. And there's always seems to be an interesting relationship between town and state
Right,
legal issues
right,
as to who preempts the other and but my guess is and I don't know it offhand, but my guess is there's a fair amount of previous discussion that's taken place that would be very informative to this. And I know that from what I hear at select board meetings, Edie is constantly in touch or checking their website or doing things.
yeah,
So it sounds like they're very accessible
okay,
and it
I'll
might
look
be.
into it. Yeah, yeah, definitely. But there must be somebody to be in contact with there. For answers other than just information off the site.
My understanding is there's a website that provides a lot, and then my impression is, I've not done it personally, but my impression is Edie or other members of the board have someone that they can call and contact there,
Okay.
depending on the topic.
Yep.
So if I don't know enough about it, but I know just a little bit to be dangerous.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Good. Yeah, so I think what Tina and Mary wanted to discuss was there's a whole bunch of more information they need, the listers need on the permits.
This is what Mary gave me from October. This is what she wanted included
Okay,
somehow. And I did receive the digital version of that specific zoning permit from, Tina.
okay,
So if something simple needed to be altered, hopefully it's an easy fix.
yeah.
It's like Google Docs, right?
Um, is that something you can add to the permit?
I guess with your permission.
So you're thinking you have a digital copy there already?
From Tina, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's,
where do you want? to
this is
insert?
all just superfluous measurements and information for the listers. I don't think there's any issues that would affect anybody
Is this for like a building permit like that
That's
Kyle
the-
does?
for the zoning
That's the
permit.
zoning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and Tina and I worked on this last year at some point to some extent, but I don't think anything ever
No.
got, put up.
Yeah, so this is for like a building permit.
Yeah. Yeah, we were
So
adding
we
in,
really don't see these
no, not unless, it gets
unless there's a problem.
like there's a
Variance or
conditional use
something,
there,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know if we need to vote on it as a board.
Okay, so this is stuff that is not
Yeah, that's not included what she would like
not included, but she would like it included. And is there other annotations in here?
That's just the basic.
Okay.
Add another page.
Contact information, yeah, okay, email, current use, drawing. I mean,
That's,
the stuff that's already asked for.
that it is, yeah,
It's just like,
yeah, but
I guess they're getting a lot of
biggest-
lovely
the
applications.
biggest
that don't
thing
have this,
is
so.
people need to fill it out.
Mary was saying that like the
minor detail.
information, the contact information, she doesn't always get good either emails or phone numbers, and she doesn't do social media. So she was saying she needs something that she could properly contact people with.
Does she want that as a separate page like that?
No, she was just saying that's what I want. She didn't say like where to put it or anything.
Do what you can, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we just add it to what is expected on the
I think a lot of it you could.
plan. We've got all the dimensions.
There are measurements, but she was saying
Those-
again with different floors, I believe.
Oh, okay.
That was,
Yeah,
yeah.
they want separate floor delineations.
Okay. I wonder why, I wish you were here.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's just for ease of use for her because she wants to create a tax card before she goes out.
I don't really know, or if the software has changed. I know they
I
had
don't know.
new software last year, I believe.
I would be apprehensive to add anything without knowing why she wants to add it, only because every time we add something, we're adding something to the townspeople for the sake of a government official, if that makes sense. And so I don't want to add something onto the townspeople without knowing why the justification
Well,
exists.
I kind of agree, because we could be adding in another blurb that confuses us even more.
That's correct.
Um,
And I think if we're going to tackle this, maybe we tackle it as from a 10,000-foot view and see how can we
Yeah.
clean this up and actually make it easier for everyone
yeah,
instead of just adding something to make it easier for one person.
okay,
Does that make sense?
yeah, I can,
Would that be asked with Bob also, like as in reference, like changing that to?
I don't,
I'll ask him, but I think we need Tina or Mary here to.
but I think we could make an agenda item of actually looking at this thing and maybe highlighting it one evening and saying like, how
Yeah.
could we just streamline this, make it easier
Yeah,
and actually help those people on the.
well, I think the listers should be here though,
Correct,
because
to ask that
I
question.
have
That-
some unpopular input on that idea, which is that I think that that's the kind of thing that does require like probably some home office time and
Sure.
that someone on the board, because it's not, is that Jessica's job?
I think so.
Because I think that this is the job of someone on the board or a few someone's on the board, that it's not very productive. I don't feel to like go through an entire form with all five of us here. Someone
No,
does
I
this
agree, I agree.
Yeah.
and then
100%.
brings it back
Yeah.
in and then everyone responds to it.
I was thinking more we set,
Someone needs to
Yeah,
do that.
no, I was thinking more set an agenda item for us to kind of mark it up and be like, can we change this, and this?
Okay.
And then
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
somebody
yeah.
comes back. Yeah,
Because I have never, while I've been on the board, seen anyone do
anything?
anything when they Tom's doing. No one's, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to undermine you, but like, we're not,
Working behind the scenes.
yeah.
Right,
And so I
right,
think that if we
okay.
want to overhaul any forms, we would need to
We gotta
actually,
sit down there.
you,
Yeah.
me, Bill, and I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. You're Nancy. Yeah. Great. Good thing I didn't forget your name. I was about to be like, I'm so
So-
sorry.
Would people be open to a January meeting where we just sit down with one of these and just make some marks? And maybe if Mary or Tina could be here at the
Yep.
beginning of that meeting to give us their feedback,
Yeah.
we could kind of just come up with a rough draft of here are the changes we want to see to make this easier.
Yep.
Would they know anything about this form? Would it have anything to do with? Well, you said the listers might need this information.
Well,
Okay.
they might, yeah, but
So-
hopefully I'll have an answer by then too.
Maybe try it with the easy form and then we'll
Yeah,
do it with the hard
Now,
form.
just, this says, it's not just wastewater, it says state subdivision permit. Have you ever heard of that?
I think that's part of the wastewater permit. So when you submit the wastewater, you have to submit the plot plan
Yeah.
that goes along with that.
yeah. Because then
So there's a subdivision.
they'll issue
permit
a
that the
permit
state
too.
does,
They'll probably issue their own permit for it.
in
I think-
addition to whatever we do.
But I think it's the same. I think the wastewater permit is the subdivision permit
I know.
because you have to
Two
give.
spots here.
No, I know, but I think that might be a misnomer. If I had to put it, I think it's a misnomer because I think the state's subdivision is the wastewater.
If Kyle
Get the
was here
plot
too, maybe he could show us a permit
I haven't seen Kyle.
filled out, yeah.
I mean, I like to think that somebody kind of puts thought into this and there's some reasons that are escaping us because we didn't draw it up, right?
Right, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
I would assume it was just us, but like the people who were us, like,
Years and years and years ago,
And years
before all this technology too.
So
Stephen, do you know anything about this No.
can I see which? They're,
Anybody here?
oh, so probably Tina.
You may want to check and
It's,
see.
yeah, it might
Oh.
be Tina.
Is that Paul? Is that Tina?
I don't know. Hello?
People who do bad things at times.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello,
It's connecting. Wait a moment.
They're bumped by Tina.
Hello? Paul or Tina?
You're muted.
hi
Hello.
Tina.
There you go.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, we were just talking about you.
Oh, no.
So, we're on your, revising of permit forms. So you've got this, want list that you guys want added in to the zoning permit.
Yes.
Why do you need this?
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at the zoning permit cheat sheet. Did you include exclamation point, exclamation point?
Yeah, that's is Mary on?
No.
No,
This is all mostly coming from Mary.
Okay, does
Um,
she,
The two things that that would be helpful to us is just adding the email section. Because we only work on Wednesdays. And when I have to call around and make my appointments to go out and assess the new builds that they're doing, it's hard to reach people and it's much easier to get them and get responses through email. So
Okay.
that would be really helpful. And the other piece, and I think it's on that cheat sheet, she made it when I wasn't here, but is it the second story information?
yeah, proposed second floor?
So we use that. A lot of people fill this out pretty loosey-goosey and don't give us they don't fill in all the spaces. And that's really important to what Mary and I do, because when we assess, like say you're building a whole house and it's a 2-story house, people will say the dimensions of the bottom floor, but oftentimes the dimensions of the second floor are not the same.
Mhm.
So that makes it hard for us to figure out total square footage of living space. So it's kind of like if we had the first floor dimensions with square footage and the second floor dimension with square footing, would make our job easier and make it more accurate. And we would
Right.
have to do less running around. It's just adding that second space in there for the additional information.
So maybe we can just scoot this over.
Yeah, and
And
like make another column.
This information for the first floor and then stick the second floor information in between,
Okay.
or however you want to lay it out.
And that's pretty much what we want. The other thing is, and I don't know if is Kyle there?
No,
The other thing, and it kind of doesn't have a lot to do with you guys, but when Kyle gets the permits, he needs to make sure that all the appropriate information is filled out, which often doesn't happen because people just, they just skim through it and hit the highlights,
Important.
but not all the details. And
Yeah.
that kind of slows us up and has a confusing mess at the end.
Mhm.
So Tina, are you trying to make the tax card essentially beforehand, just so you have kind of an estimate before you go out on site? I'm just trying to kind of imagine what you're hoping to see with the second floor before you actually see the house.
How do I explain this? So when we're looking at those, it gives us a idea of the things that we need to look at when we go out there. Plus, when Mary goes to do the sketches, she refers back to those dimensions, kind of as we take our own measurements, but we compare what's on that form for any discrepancies, if that is clear at all.
How do you treat second floors if they're story and a half?
We go by the foot wall,
Okay,
kind of the same as the basement.
okay. Do you know that
Or the-
measurement off the top of your head?
I believe it's 4 feet, but I'm
Okay.
not certain.
Okay, that's fine.
I think it's a knee wall, Matt.
Okay,
Always small, the second floor, always.
that's gonna be good.
Everything gets crowded.
But we'll look into the attic.
Matt's thinking about his house.
No, I'm already done. I've already filled out all my forms. No, I'm just thinking of people filling it out and then being like, that's not what it is. And
Yeah.
I think the rest of the stuff that she's looking for here is already included on the permit.
is the current use on there?
No, I don't think current use is on here.
You know, that is,
It should be front page. It's a little X box.
Uh,
Front page,
The first page under
got-
information, I think there is a little X box that does say, ask if it is in current use.
It's zoning districts, zoning
There's a
district.
button.
if it's not on there, would you like it on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
on the
requested
request.
on there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I know that was one of the things that wasn't on one of the permits we dealt with previously.
Right.
It
Condition.
was discussed quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Putting current
Current use on there. Yeah. Maybe when you and I worked on this, Tina, we put it on.
We did.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
I believe it was already on there, but it was just tiny.
Okay.
And when I recreated the form, I made it bigger.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't see it on this
Is it
one
on
I'm
one?
looking at, but. Um. Do you guys have a problem with Jessica working on this permit and putting that information on there?
I would still say we give it a look over at our next meeting and see if we can streamline it even more.
The whole permit?
I think
Yeah.
so, just kind of
Yeah.
like in our dream world, if we were starting from scratch, what would this look like?
Yeah.
To make it easy for the townspeople.
Hey, Tina,
I have a suggestion.
would you?
It kind of, if you look at that permit, and I don't have one in front of me, but if you go, it's actually the third page, or no, the top of the second page, where it says something about a description. What are you going to do? And it's basically the same as below. You know what I mean,
Yeah.
Matt? Because you've filled one out recently. it's like asks you what you're gonna do, and then it says below, what are you gonna do?
Existing use and then proposed use. Pretty much the same thing.
Well, unless you change
It's the
it.
same thing, isn't it? Parking.
I'm interested in separating the sections about home industry and business use from the rest of it, because I feel like a lot of people are only applying for residential, and separating that would just create less of a sense of like there's a ton of stuff in this document that I need to respond to, and they'll probably do a better job of
I
getting
agree.
Mary the info that they actually need if there's a separate form
Okay.
for business use. Because I know I
And
look
if
at the
you-
form and I'm like, this isn't relevant to me, and I just kind of
Right.
like skim past it.
Tina, can you
Right.
give us a sense of how many applications you see of that are just for sheds or garages versus houses versus something more than that even? Like, obviously not an exact number, just kind of a general, like we see a lot of sheds.
We do see a lot of sheds, but quite honestly, this past year we've seen more houses.
Okay.
And do you get a lot that are for people's businesses specifically? Like home industry, or what is it called?
Home industry.
Yeah, home industry is the,
I think I've only ever seen one home industry, and that was for the um the people that wanted to grow marijuana and have a thing.
yeah, I just feel like the more we can take stuff out that's like kind of its own separate thing, the better, so that
Yeah.
people receive less pieces of paper they need to fill out.
I agree. And less words, don't less words, just get to the point.
Yeah.
Would you want to join us in January and we'll sit down and X out the stuff that you guys don't need and add in the stuff that you do?
I would love to join you.
Can you bring dinner?
Sure, what do you want?
Beef Wellington.
I've never made it. Choose
So
something
just
else.
to clarify on the agenda for January, review zoning permit form with listers.
Yeah.
Or are we reviewing multiple forms or just a zoning?
Just,
Okay,
Let's start with that.
and maybe
Yeah.
from that, we decide to make two different forms
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
make people's lives easier.
okay.
Can I ask her about this?
Yes.
Tina, it's Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
It's like having Alexa here.
This permit for new parcels for land division, subdivision,
Permits that I don't have.
on page 2, they look for state subdivision permit numbers and state wastewater permit numbers.
This is regular.
And is that anything that the listers ever come back to this particular application and look for those numbers?
Those aren't numbers that we ever use.
What about the health officer though?
That's not on here.
No, but they
Oh.
might use those.
Yeah, sorry.
And I believe those, Patty, I think Patty needs those for public records. I think Patty does stuff with those particular numbers
Yeah,
for
maybe you could,
vital records.
with this question, Tina, because we were kind of wrestling with it before you came on. So we were trying to understand, do we need to have the wastewater permit in hand before we issue a subdivision permit? Because it doesn't make sense for somebody to go get a wastewater permit if they don't know if they can actually subdivide their land. And I don't know if you have any experience talking to Patty about this and helping us to understand the order of how we would do things.
I don't have an educated answer, just a guess. In my mind, I would think that you would want, like, I'm thinking back to when we bought our land and we had to prove that it perked before we could build. But we didn't have to do that to buy the land.
That's where it says that you have to have it in the deed. that this is, these are,
This is the general.
there's a section in the instructions that says if you don't have that, then you have to have in the deed that the lack of permit
Other
is
approvals.
clearly stated. And I have seen that in
Highway,
a few deeds.
but I don't know, does.
So perhaps that was in your deed.
It could be. Patty would be the better person to ask this question to.
We invite her to.
Yeah,
Great, let's have her in January. It'll be a party.
Yeah. She can bring the dessert.
Perfect.
No.
I was thinking souffle.
Creme brulee.
Perfect. I have a further question for you, Tina. I don't know if you know this. So under other approvals, where the applicant would submit copies of the following approvals with this application, we've got state subdivision permit, health permit, and highway access permit. Is the health permit for wastewater, or is the health permit for something else?
I believe it's the wastewater.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't know what else the health officer or health, I don't know what other health concerns there would be.
Because we're not issuing anything at the town level, a health permit.
No, it's just to make, that's just us, I think basically us checking the box, like,
Right,
yes,
right,
they
right.
did this.
But maybe that's where it makes sense to have your wastewater. You want to build a house,
yeah,
Yeah,
want to subdivide your land.
Yeah.
But that's
Well,
up to
you know, going back, like to think about this more simply, you can't build a house unless you have those permits and things in order. So you would need them before you built a house, but still that doesn't answer the question of do you need it?
which
What
permit?
was the original question?
Chicken.
Well, there were two questions. So there's kind of like, when does the wastewater come into play? So does it come into play if somebody's trying to subdivide their land? That was the
No.
question.
No.
Then I can't figure out why it's on the application.
Yeah, there's some wording on the application that's confusing.
Yeah.
It may lead you to believe that you need a wastewater permit before you can subdivide your land.
Or there's also the clause,
But
or
we've
it
done-
has to be in the deed.
We've done
But how do you
land,
know it's in the deed?
yeah, we've done land divisions before without a wastewater permit.
Right.
Yeah. But I see where it's confusing, Nancy.
Yeah,
And you can transfer a parcel without waste. Like if I wanted to transfer 25 wooded acres to you, you don't
Yeah.
have to do a wastewater permit for
But
that.
you've got to have that in the deed.
Right.
right.
It has to be,
Yeah.
but that's not our, that's
Yeah.
where I'm kind of coming back
Yeah,
to, like,
yeah,
it's not
yeah.
our business. Like,
No,
like, I
no.
hate to say it, but it's
Yeah.
not.
Right.
Yeah.
That's between the
I don't
buyer
think
and the
so.
seller, yeah.
And I guess you have to look at the permits as there are several different
Yeah.
Groups of people using the information on this form. So what may not pertain to you guys or to the listers, Patty may use it or the health officer may use it. Several different people are looking at this information. So this information isn't going to pertain to all groups the same.
yeah, I guess that kind of points to, just because something is on this permit doesn't mean it's something that we need to discuss.
Correct.
And I think we should just get clarity on what stuff we actually can just be like, okay, this is here. Because like one thing that I think we can do is everyone who's doing like a subdivision is coming to us. We are one of the people that can be like, hello, I see this information is missing. We can approve this without this information being on this form. But just so you know, you are going to need this information further down the road. And so then maybe our job is just to communicate that. And so we should develop clarity about what parts of the form are our business and what
Yes.
parts we're just sort of like helpfully letting you know, Tina's going to want to know this.
Right. And maybe that's something that can happen in January. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Mary and I could come and Patty could come and maybe Sue Kelly, who is the health officer, could
Mhm.
pop in and everybody could put their 2 cents in and say, well, this is the information that we really use.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if Patty does need that stuff, it says list other permits you are required to have. So like, who's gonna come back?
You were looking at so many permit for applications.
just-
that we
Same,
don't have.
same, it's in the instructions.
Okay.
The new
So-
parcel.
Yeah, so I
It's
think-
like, does
I don't-
the person know to come put
I don't
that
think
in?
that.
No, that's okay. I think we just need to make sure we're looking at separate.
Yeah.
So like if we're gonna meet in January, I think we should.
We
Okay.
should just refer back to the
Which are we-
zoning regulations.
So
Well, try,
I'm
luck.
expecting that
Yeah.
when we look at a form in January, we would be looking at the zoning permit application form.
yeah, I was just asking her, cause
Okay,
there was a
Yeah.
comment that
Okay.
that the listers might need
Right.
that. And she said Patty might need that.
Okay,
And I'm questioning, so since this is something we have to deal with,
That's yours.
the person would need to know they have to come back and fill this out.
yeah,
Yeah, so then
That would be
we'll,
something
yeah,
to
we'll,
tell the person.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah. Okay, thanks, Tina. We'll see you in January.
yes.
Will we
Are
see
you thinking like the regular second Tuesday meeting?
It should be another calendar over there. I don't know.
Years that.
Be the 13th, I think.
13th?
There's
Yeah,
March
yep.
1st.
Yeah, how about the 13th of January?
Perfect.
I'm gonna have to zoom into that meeting. I will be visiting family. Yes.
No creme brulee.
Well,
Or beef Wellington?
no, I'd be fine. Yeah.
So it also clear, I'll invite Tina, Mary, Patty, and Sue
Sure.
and Kelly.
Yep. Yeah, if they can. Yeah, Kyle would
and-
be good too,
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
Kyle might be a good asset.
Miss that guy.
And could you, I don't know if this is
Patty.
your job, but could we make sure that we all have a copy of the zoning permit application in front of us?
Yeah.
I think we can just grab one out here.
Or do we have?
Or they're online.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
Make copies and have them on the table.
Nice,
And so the subdivision application, they're not talking about that in January.
Then maybe put it on the back burner for February if this goes successfully.
Yeah, Yeah.
Or bring it up as a point of what did Bob Fisher say for feedback? That way we at least kind of have in the back of our brain.
Yeah.
We can adjust this, or I should adjust this.
yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe start with that.
Yep.
Just here's what he told us.
Yep.
Or we could do that via, well, I guess we're not supposed to do things a ton via email, but whatever.
So I think that's just information.
Yeah, you can send out the information beforehand and then present it at the beginning of the meeting.
Yeah, that's just information. That's not decided on
Decided,
anything.
okay.
So, all right,
And I won't touch the form until January then.
great, thanks. Thanks, Tina.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, back to our town plan discussion, and we're gonna lead off with Stephen. He printed off this awesome tool that Wyndham Regional has that I'll let him explain it, but in a nutshell, it's kind of their checklist to make sure we have everything we need. Stephen?
This is a checklist that towns submit to Wyndham Regional Commission their town plan for approval. And there are legally required components to that plan. And this is the tool that Wyndham Regional Commission project manager uses to make sure that all of those elements are included, that there's discussion about a whole range of things, but discussion that the town has looked at adjacent town plans. They've looked at Wyndham regional plans, that the plans are compatible where they need to be compatible. It's a very extensive checklist. That's how the project manager at Wyndham Regional goes through and then can say, yes, let's approve, or no, there are omissions, we can't quite do that. So I thought it would be a useful tool because you're undertaking a rather complex and how can I say, complicated process of renewing the town plan. And go ahead.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you. So would we be wise to take this and look at the town plan and go, we got this, we got
Yeah.
this, we got this, we
Yeah.
got this?
Yeah.
Yes,
No.
and it needs to,
Yeah.
it also, the part of the complication is as state regulations may have changed, the town plan that has being revised or a new town plan's being put together needs to be compliant with those state regulations. For example, chapter 181 came in, which was required the town, last time the town plan was reviewed, required the town plans address connectivity for animals between forest blocks. And if it wasn't in there, it was an omission and it could be a problem.
Hmm.
So in light of that legislation passing, that got added to the list.
Mhm.
And at last time the town plan was updated, the town actually had the project manager from Wyndham Regional Commission here, and he sort of led the charge.
Mhm.
That's what they
Yeah.
get to do. Unfortunately, it's now too late to apply for the grant that would fund that. So the individual at Wyndham Regional Commission is not in a position to provide extensive help. He's in a position, as he mentioned in the
Yeah.
email that you saw, Tom, to provide some guidance.
Yeah.
So that's the reason for bringing this.
Mhm.
And it is a question, there probably can be discussions about what state legislation has taken place that we need to respond to in the town plan.
Okay,
But it is also, it's not discussed in there, but there is a schedule issue,
right,
which is the town plan expires in 27. It was last passed in 2019. It's good for 8 years. It then expires. So it has to be approved
Mhm.
by town meeting.
Mhm.
It has to be in complete and reviewed. I'll touch on that in a minute. When the town meeting is warned. And to get there, there has to be the work of the planning commission. There needs to be a public hearing that the planning commission holds. There then needs to be a letter from the planning commission to the select board. The select board reviews it, and the select board then has to have a public hearing, and then it can be approved and sent, then warned, as it were. And then it goes to Wyndham Regional Commission for their approval. So each of those steps, and I'm not gonna have it accurate, each of those steps has a warning period, a public hearing period, a response period. And the end result is there is now probably less than 15 months
right,
to
yeah,
do all this.
Yeah.
And I've seen other towns do this, and it takes them unfortunately longer than 15
15
months.
months.
And
Yeah.
they sometimes have the Wyndham Regional person with them.
Yeah.
Because there has to be discussion about, do we agree with this? Do we agree with that? Does the select board agree? There are gonna be issues that need to be resolved, and they all take time
Yeah.
to do. So this is not a simple do, it's complex. I was trying to provide this tool because it might help facilitate. And it's a question of how much, and I don't have an answer to this, it's a question of how much the current plan has to be updated and how much is involved in that.
Mhm.
And you don't know that until you start the review.
So you mentioned that it expires spring of 27.
That's correct.
What,
Maybe,
is there
maybe
a state
make copies for
consequence, or
everybody.
is there some sort of problem if
I
you
think that's
don't?
gonna be,
There is a
the ballpark.
consequence if the town does not have, and I'm not gonna remember the wording, but I can get it for you. It's on Wyndham Regional Commission's website as to why it's useful to have an approved plan.
Sure.
That there are certain grants and certain regulations that you cannot apply for unless you have an approved plan.
You also, if you don't have your zoning stuff in order, which is a separate issue,
Mhm.
then your town isn't eligible for FEMA money
Yeah,
if a natural disaster hits, and that like puts everybody in danger,
Sure.
yeah.
especially with like
So
climate
it is, there are serious consequences to not having an approved town plan. Most towns work to get an approved town plan.
Sure.
And because of some of the reasons, and as you go through this, I can try and provide some information about it. But the short answer is you need the town plan approved at the town meeting in 2027.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they tie.
I don't know if there are,
State.
how can I say, extensions that you
Yeah,
can
sure.
get and
Yeah.
how that would work.
Yeah,
I don't know.
or a special town meeting or.
Yeah,
something.
right,
Sure,
yeah.
all sorts
But
of,
it is something that
Yeah.
you want to accomplish.
sure.
I would much rather not do a special town meeting for it because that's
Yeah.
like way more attention on it from the towns.
No, I get it, I get it, I get it.
It also
think-
costs money.
Yeah.
To do it, you gotta warn them. I get
Well,
A
it.
lot of,
We should probably figure out, other than our monthly meeting, when we could meet, just to do like a work session.
Yeah, we're gonna need a working
Yeah,
group.
I mean, if it'll be some homework. I don't know if we can like split it up and
Right.
divide.
I'm sure that we
and conquer,
can.
So.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, and again, I think for me, I always come back to like, what are we doing for the townspeople? And I don't want to be preachy about this, but like, the state of Vermont works for us.
Yeah.
Like, we're
Yeah.
not here working for them, and that's
Yeah.
a really
Yeah.
important thing, I think, that we come back to, like, we're working for the townspeople here.
yeah,
And so how do we do that
Yeah.
best? That's why I kind of posed that question, because, you know, I don't, not like I'm waving with one finger at the state of Vermont, but I think it's important.
It's an interesting discussion to have, not here, but it's a different discussion because your concept of working for the people is useful, but it needs to be put in the context of a social contract. And a social contract means that there is a government body that sets some rules and regulations to try and govern
Right.
something. So it's not just these townspeople, it's a whole state full of townspeople.
Right.
It's a state structure, it's a city structure, it's a mess. But it's what it's there that makes a social contract work.
Right. And again, I think you hit the nail on the head with a conversation probably for
Yeah, that's
another
a
time, but I think
different
it is an
discussion.
important,
But
Yeah.
I don't wanna,
Keep that.
leave it in the back.
I
Yeah.
don't wanna simply accept the assumption that what's good for
No,
the
you're good, no.
townspeople will do it. A lot of
course.
townspeople here really object to zoning regulations.
Right.
But as it happens, zoning is a very important component of the social contract that makes the place work.
So again, yeah, I think,
So
I won't see the money if my house sells.
I get
I know
it,
that's,
but I think here,
that's why I
I
can.
think hearing
Yeah.
from, I think as we go through the process, I guess all of that to say, it's important to hear from the people who live here of what do they want
That's-
from this plan.
that's
Yeah.
why, and I don't wanna be interesting topic for me, but that's why there's a whole series of public hearings.
Right, exactly, so they have that.
You really can't have, and this bumps up against open meeting law, but you can't
Thank you so
really
much,
have a
Jessica.
productive public hearing unless you have an articulate document
Something to talk about.
to present at the
Yeah.
public
Right.
Oh,
meeting.
no.
Well, it's
I have
a
no
dance, it's a
idea.
dance for
Right.
sure.
We have no idea. and This
Correct,
is like
correct.
our job.
Right.
Anyway, but the point is, Linden Regional Commission can offer some assistance.
Mhm.
I think if, as you saw from Matt's
Yeah.
email, he can
Yeah.
discuss schedule, he can discuss.
Yeah.
Is this Matt, the
Something.
same Matt that came
Matt,
to?
Yes.
Okay, Matt.
Backler, who
Yeah.
is the project manager at Linden Regional Commission, and he's
Yeah,
dealing.
he was a really clear communicator. I really.
I'm sorry?
He was a great, really clear communicator. I really.
Yeah,
No, I'm good.
he's very good at what he does.
Yeah.
Can I
So
keep
that-
this that you gave me, Stephen?
Yeah, oh,
Okay,
please.
thanks.
That's all I wanted to just try and set a context of why I gave Tom, or gave all of you this document. Because it becomes a sort of checklist and guide to getting through the process and getting the town plan approved.
Should we try to make a second meeting in January for us to start getting into this?
I think we should.
Separate from.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I
Yeah.
will be back in town on the 15th, I think. So anytime after then is fine for me and I can come to an in-person meeting.
I don't know when this is
So-
available.
the select board meets the 6th and the 20th,
Okay,
They're always Wednesdays, right? Or typically Wednesdays.
Tuesday.
Tuesdays.
Yeah.
First and third.
third.
So we would
Sometimes they, so we're talking about the
13th and maybe the 27th.
27.
How long is our town plan now good for?
till
It expires
20
in 2027.
27,
27.
but we've gotta have it approved before
Ducks in a
then,
row.
and yeah, it goes through all the red tape.
Steven, have you looked at it and off the top of your head know any point where it's like, this has to be changed right now? Like this is. the
No, I
most-
don't know
No,
that
you don't
at
know off
this
the top of your head, okay.
And,
Would
and
Matt?
What you,
I don't,
from
I don't
off-town
know the
plan?
Yeah.
answer to that.
I know
question.
that
I can't, I
Yeah.
don't know the answer
Yeah.
to that.
Okay,
But one of the things I have to, how do I put this? At least from my perspective, as town representative to Wyndham Regional Commission. This is a topic I know something about, but it's the planning commission's responsibility. I can try and help or make suggestions, but I have to be judicious about not trying, and I know myself well enough, I have to be judicious about not trying to take over the process.
sure, but if you knew of
I
laws
don't
that
have the
changed.
authority, and I don't wanna
Yeah.
take the time.
Yeah,
It's
Right, no,
Yeah.
100%.
huge.
Yeah. Right,
But for instance, Massachusetts made accessory dwelling units something that people could put on their property by right. So like if that were something that occurred in Vermont, if we had that information
I
beforehand
know
to
that
say,
Vermont as of
We
last,
already do.
yeah,
in
I think
Vermont.
Vermont has that, and
Right.
I know that Vermont as of last year, and I don't know how much this is planned versus zoning, but basically towns can't have anything on the books that restricts the people's ability to build more housing because of the housing crisis, and
Right.
that was a like direct response to the housing crisis, and if I think we need to review basically everything
right, okay.
that would, and make sure that we are following that, because if we're not in accordance with the like broader state law, then that just like opens up a huge
I
headache.
think, I think we can use this as like a guideline as we go through
Absolutely,
the town plan
that's
and,
the whole,
yeah.
it's,
And then
it is the method.
If we
that
can't
they
figure
use to
something
approve.
out,
Oh, like,
I'll take it to Matt.
this is the town
And,
plan.
well, we'll have a bunch of them and maybe I can
Yeah.
sit down with Matt and,
Yeah,
and
and
yourself
I
even.
facilitate those
Yep.
kinds of meetings, I
Yep.
can try and do
I
that.
remember
Yeah.
thinking about like this,
And then,
But it's,
That's
it
right.
is,
and this is the land use policies, so this is
the
like.
plan is 8 years old, almost 8 years old, and
But
the
there may
world
be
has changed
stuff
around
that's
it.
happened
yeah,
Since.
As I
then.
remember, I don't think there was a lot of tricky
Would just be like. reduce-
decisions that
Well,
were made on
I don't have a cell phone, is over here.
Oh, there
that. It was just pretty straightforward.
It was relatively straightforward, there wasn't a whole lot of disagreement, there was,
But
it's,
And
it's.
the
a couple
person-
tricky things.
yeah, and who was leading
Big fan.
for Wyndham Regional
When I read
Commission.
through the town plan, I was
Really
like, this is,
Set out
I was
all
ready
the
to be like,
issues that had to be
wanna fight
resolved,
somebody, and I
that
was
they
like,
could
this
be
is pretty good.
worked
Yeah.
through fairly
Yeah, I
quickly.
mean,
Yeah. Okay.
So the January 27th would be a separate special meeting or just a separate
Yeah.
meeting? And it would be the
Yeah.
planning,
Change your matrix.
kind of like a work meeting, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that's what I title it as, work meeting,
Yeah, sure,
okay?
Yeah.
And for planning,
for planning, yeah.
and 7 PM also,
I don't know what time do you guys wanna do? Do you wanna do earlier? Later, earlier,
not later,
I would just say same time if you're okay
same
with that.
time?
yeah,
Yeah, okay, good.
Doesn't mean screw that up.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally, I barely made it today.
Cool.
So these are all different areas that we can discuss and see what fits us.
Yeah.
Because some of the stuff doesn't fit.
Yeah, like energy, do we have an energy plan?
The current plan was, it's, the documents that preceded this tool
Mhm.
were used for that, so there's gonna be a lot of similarities.
Yeah, okay,
But it's gonna come down to energy plan, it's gonna come down to flood hazard.
Yeah.
Topic, it's gonna come down housing discussion.
Yeah.
Transportation and energy has shifted a bit. So the devil's gonna be in the details, there's no question about.
yeah,
Anyway,
Yeah, like I'm looking at the education section here and states
Oh, it's,
throwing that into a loop of just who knows what's gonna happen
yeah,
with their mandated districts and.
and one of the things that plan will touch on. Is it becomes very important to identify. Policies, actions that support policies, and then at some point, either through each section or at the end, an implementation plan. Who in the town is going to be responsible for doing what? It doesn't mean that it's fixed. It's a plan of how to implement everything that's put forward. And those have become fairly standard in plans, and they've become pretty healthy requirements in plans.
When was the last census? 2021?
20. It happens on
It
the
was
10-year.
10 years ago.
It was 20, then
They
there
publish it
there
21.
are other groups that do other censuses along the way, but they're not, and one of the things that Wyndham Regional can provide you is with updates on information about the town, about consensus, the censuses, et cetera. I think those are simple calls to get
Just to
information.
say, we want the data.
And Matt had mentioned that in his email
Yeah.
about information about the town. We have to go through that in more detail and.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Is there anything else we need to touch on or plan for, I think January is gonna be pretty full. I guess. If we get through the first stuff at the first meeting, we can start tackling some of this. Yeah. Okay. Do you have anything else, Stephen?
No, I'm happy to try and facilitate. I assume everybody has a copy of
Yep.
the town plan.
Yeah.
And I know there are copies available, I think on shelf over there, but, no, at this point, I think the most pressing matter probably is schedule.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Great.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Steven.
We can
Yeah,
go
thank you,
back,
Stephen.
we can take town meeting 2027. And we can go back, all the approvals.
In the
And-
email that I had written Matt asking some questions.
I forwarded the
And-
email to you
and-
guys. Yeah.
Copied Tom. And then Matt responded to us. Matt and Tom responded to Matt, and in Matt's email, there was actually a tentative schedule.
So we'll have to look at our calendars and make sure,
Yeah. We're getting things done.
Yeah.
yeah. And we can actually be a little ahead of time so that,
Yeah,
So
it'd
we
be
can
nice
plan
to
for when
be,
things go wrong.
we would like to be,
Yeah.
ahead of things.
I mean, yeah, so go
Yeah.
from town meeting date.
Yeah, I'll
Go back.
We can
but
put
then
that on
maybe
the
go
agenda
back
for our January
27.
27
And
meeting, I
then
think.
we can print that timeline off and,
And try to.
well, I'll have it
Try to
for, I'll
split
have it
it
for,
and-
I'll have it for the
Yeah.
January 13th meeting.
So,
So, yeah.
One thing you may want to consider as a methodology is if you break the town plan into its components and not try and deal with every component as a group, as a planning commission, but have the subgroup or individuals go through respective sections and then come to the meeting with prepared comments. That way, it would facilitate the entire group in open meeting context,
Yeah, maybe we.
having the discussions. If that doesn't preclude individuals or two people
Mhm.
meeting to discuss and then come in with suggestions. Because that
Yeah.
way, a lot of the preliminary things
Mhm.
can be sorted out before a group discussion.
Yeah, I think
I
it
think
would make sense to add to our agenda for the 27th meeting, basically to break into the section that Steven's mentioning. And then maybe identify who among us is like, I feel passionate about this segment.
Let's do that at the January 13th
You wanna
meeting.
do that at January
And then
13th?
we
Okay,
can
and then we can
jump
bring
on
our
it.
thoughts about
Yeah.
that to the January
Yeah.
27th. Okay, yeah, that sounds
Cause I
great.
know there's not enough hours in the day
Yeah.
anyway, so, the earlier we start, the better.
Totally.
And just based on what some other towns have gone through, how do I put this politely? The planning commission will prepare a plan. And then they ship it off and say to the select board, here it is. And the select board says, no, sorry, that's silly. But, the feature
I've
is,
seen
I
them
think
do
the
that.
better, sorry?
I've seen them do that.
Yeah, the better one communicates between the planning commission and the select board, so they're not surprised by what's going on. It would facilitate that, the town planning public hearing going to the select board and then the select board planning. That can be a point that has happened in other towns where the select board said no and sent it back.
Sure.
Yeah,
Does it,
And that's a time killer.
yeah.
does it make sense to try to have a meeting where we have representatives from different town government come in to say, here are things that our group has discussed as potential issues in the town plan. We would like this to get addressed in the next town plan. We invite the the Conservation Commission, like representatives from various sections of town government to come and give us their feedback. And we could even make that like at the end, we do public comment and they're just like, we are seeking feedback. And that sort of creates collective buy-in so that then select board doesn't freak out and the Conservation Commission doesn't freak out. And also the voters don't freak out when we're trying to get the town approved. We're like,
Everything's
Don't we get that
transparent that
information
way.
from the,
yeah.
Wyndham Regional?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Oh, no.
You're talking about specifics?
I'm
that-
talking about if people who are in other parts of our town government
Yeah.
have things that they wish were different in our town plan, that they find come up in their process of working in their subsection of town government.
Yeah, okay.
But what you may want to do is communicate with with the select board, conservation commission. The planning, not sure what other elements there are, maybe.
And there's the
health officer.
cemetery.
Huh?
I don't know if the cemetery,
Or, not this, but
if they're.
what you may want to do is just say, we're undertaking a review of the town plan.
Mhm.
Please let us know of any concerns or topics or things.
Yeah,
And not always depend on meetings, because the scheduling
Yeah.
of meetings always has this
yeah,
lead time.
okay, yeah.
And just see what kind of response you can get. In written, email or
Yeah.
things back. And then if there's issues, have a meeting to discuss the issues.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of
But
sense.
what I'm trying to think of, and I'm not saying I'm right in this or correct, but I'm just trying to think of things that would facilitate the turnaround because of
Yeah.
the time schedule.
Totally,
If you had 24 months, it would be totally different.
Yeah.
Than having less than 15 months.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, I completely agree, and I think we waste a lot of time in meetings, so
We'll get it done.
I'm not like worried, I just.
Yeah.
Stephen, do you know off the top of your head, this is broken into two primary categories, required elements and state planning goals?
Yes.
So presumably required would be, this must be in the town plan.
Yes.
And then state planning goals, to me, sounds kind of ancillary, like if you want to include it, feel free to.
No, you have to basically, the town plans now, then and now have to show that the plan is compatible with the state goals.
with the state
And they will
goals.
be enumerated, that's why they're listed out.
Okay.
And they'll be checked against the town plan to make sure they're there.
And what if, kind of devil's advocate here, what if every person in the town said, we don't want that goal in our town plan? Again, I'm just trying to kind of play this as a,
If you need to document
okay,
it and come up with an alternative goal,
okay.
is my opinion, but I'm not, this isn't my.
No, of course, I'm trying to understand the process and understand kind of who are the gatekeepers of this document that's meant
The
for,
gatekeepers are the planning commission,
okay,
the select board, and then the final approval, which is, I won't say the most rigorous process in the
Yeah.
world, but the final approval is Wyndham Regional Commission.
okay,
State law requires that approval be given
Occurs.
for the state before
The townspeople.
the town has
Okay.
an approved, that's where the approved comes
Right,
from.
right, okay,
Has an approved plan
okay,
that makes you eligible for
these things,
other things.
okay, okay, got it, that makes sense.
But I think it's relatively, Matt's created this form, and I think it's a relatively straightforward, useful
Yeah,
piece.
it's very well organized.
He's extremely good at this.
Mhm. It's very well organized.
He also happens to be extremely good at writing town plans.
When you do that all day, every day, I would assume you did.
Right?
We'll check in with him in
Yeah.
another.
I'm sorry?
We'll check in with him in another 7 years.
There's a lot of statutes about, if you don't have a new approved plan too, so,
Oh, yeah,
We'll get it.
you
Wait,
know, we
wait.
can figure out,
we're gonna,
There's
yeah,
alternative things to do, but I always try and take the approach of
Mhm.
take the most direct path and
right.
not defer and not delay.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you.
No, this is great, thank you.
thanks, yeah. All right, that
Cool.
should be enough for tonight.
I'll give stuff to chew on for a while.
More than enough.
Yeah,
That's great.
I have can we try to reach out to the local government people before the 27th so that we can hopefully get some of that feedback?
How do you want the feedback? Do you,
I don't know. I haven't thought about that.
It'd be
well,
hard
well,
to
one of the
arrange personal-
officials is sitting here.
Personal
Yeah.
spot.
Personal spot?
Well, bringing like from Whitingham or from Wilmington or,
Oh, no, they're from local our town.
Are you guys still having a monthly
oh, I
meeting,
thought you were
David?
talking
You-
about
you are-
other
this-
towns.
But like the
Last
select board
Thursday
of
or something?
Halifax.
We didn't have one for, it
Unless,
fell on Thanksgiving and December falls on Christmas.
Christmas,
Yeah.
yeah,
So we're meeting on the Conservation Commission is meeting on the 22nd of January, and I will, given you're gonna meet on the 27th, I'll raise the topic at that meeting
Yeah.
and let people know that the town plan is being reviewed, and if they have any concerns,
yeah,
fine. Just for your information, the last town plan in 2019 is what created
The Conservation Committee.
Conservation Commission.
yeah.
okay, so we know who all the folks who would wanna. Is it just them two?
I
Select board
can-
and the Conservation Commission?
Yeah, I can email Edie and
Do we want that many people to just start this off?
I don't
I'm feeling
know.
kind of like, I just wanna look at this with my
Yeah.
paper and say like, where are we
Valid.
at?
right, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. yeah. I
I
mean,
don't think you wanna get bigger
Would you-
meetings, you want.
No.
yeah,
That's what I was suggesting.
it'll just bog the process down,
Right.
From what I've seen of select board meetings, it would be very beneficial to keep Edie,
in the loop.
well in the loop.
Outside the door, maybe?
I'm sorry?
Outside the door?
I was really waiting for where that's.
No, well informed about what's, going on, and
Does she know that she talks too much?
you can have that conversation with her.
I may. We were here one night, I had to shut her down to
I'm not gonna.
get out of here.
Bill, do you know about how often men say women should talk too much? Are you aware of that?
Probably a lot.
Yeah, it's really
They
common.
probably say the same about us too.
If nobody else has anything, I'm gonna adjourn the meeting at 8:27.
Great decision, I love it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah,
Did we have in a second? Did this one?
yeah, I
Just
second.
assign it to someone.
Yeah,
We all second.
He did that without a vote too. But
I don't
still,
know, I think I can adjourn it, I can just adjourn
it's
it.
a good
Okay.
question.
Thanks, sure.
Okay, I just want to make sure
Yeah.
we're covered.
But, yeah.
It's nice having somebody legal that is pinpointing our fallacies.
Yeah,
We need that.
Well, we appreciate
We're
that.
not gonna.
we can go watch it on YouTube later and see where we screwed up.
Thank you.